Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Claire. The mindset of an entrepreneur is the strongest asset the entrepreneur has. It's his imagination that dreams up the dream, it's his strategic thinking and planning that allows the plan to unfold, and it's his determination and willpower that gets him through the uncharted waters. He knows he's on the right path, even if he can't articulate that path exactly to you. It's patience and persistence that keeps him going. However, in this fast-paced world in which we live, if we don't allow ourselves some downtime, we can forget to slow down and recharge our batteries, something I have dealt with since I was a kid. I remember my dad telling me many times, "You're burning the candle from both ends, Shug," meaning I needed to take a break or use up all my wick and burn out. So how do we as entrepreneurs keep ourselves moving forward at the speed of light while also taking care of ourselves and get balanced? That's where mindfulness steps in. Join me today when we speak with John Edmonson, Director of Wellness and Life Coach at Healing Springs Ranch. John's fascinating approach to mindfulness and its end goal will answer these questions and more. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Claire. I'm Claire Billingsley, the host, and I am so excited to have our guest, John Edmonson, here. John, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Claire.
Of course. So John is the Director of Wellness and Life Coach at Healing Springs. And before we dive into Healing Springs, did you like that little pun? Yeah. Let's let our viewers and listeners learn a little bit about you. So you're a bilingual therapist.
See?
Nice. A licensed counselor, as well as a certified K through 12 teacher and school counselor. So I'm sensing a theme of a helper.
A little bit of a helper in there.
Un poquito.
Un poquito, yeah.
So when did you first realize that you had this passion for helping people?
So, a lot of it, Claire, was my own journey and growth. I was definitely the kid who had a lot of trouble growing up. I was always being sent to the office. I had difficulty reading and writing. I had difficulty learning. My stress, anxiety was always way up to here. When I went to college, it was the same thing. I could barely sit in the classroom without having a panic attack.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So people see me now and they're like, "You're like the Zen guy.
Yeah,
You're
so chill.
You're so calm. Do some breathing with John." But it's easy for you to say, John. But I tell that story because I want to give that vision of hope for a lot of people out there that I've been where you're at. And so what I did was I started to integrate the ideas of mindfulness. I minored in psychology, so I was studying psychology, and a lot of motivational material, and to kind of create my own personal program of healing, of growth, of inner peace. Mm-hmm. When I did that, I noticed it was progressive, like can I just sit still for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and was able to begin to meditate for almost 20 minutes.
Wow.
Then I'm sitting in a classroom, and I'm like, okay, I'll just sit here for 5 minutes and not have a panic attack. Then it's 10 minutes and 20 minutes and 30 minutes. And after a while, I go from having trouble to excelling, graduating cum laude with honors.
Wow, good for you.
Thank you. And doing it in a way that was character building, like helped me change as a human being as well. So then I wanted to bring that to others. Like I was so grateful for that experience and that knowledge. I wanted to teach it. So I became a high school teacher. And, I thought that was going to be easy because I understood. And the first thing I learned in high school is when they look at you as a teacher, you don't represent the friend at first. You have to earn that trust.
Oh, right.
And earn the connection. So I did that. And along the way, I realized that, if I'm really going to help them, I can't just tell them my story. I have to give them the experience. So it was hard at first, but I had freshmen, believe this or not, doing Tai Chi.
Oh, cool.
Listening to classical music.
Wow.
Doing deep breathing, doing journaling, and doing motivation.
What subject did you teach?
It was the Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And so we integrated all that in.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And so basically we integrate all that into class, and it takes a little bit of a sales approach.
Oh, sure.
And teach about the neurobiology behind it to get the administration to buy in. But we went from, this is a rough school I started at teaching, with kids being sent to the office consistently, grades being low, that by the end of the year and the following years, grades are going up, behavior is improving, without me having to write people up. And it was like magic.
Wow.
Yeah. But then I noticed something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, in the process, although it was wonderful and awesome, there was a certain group of kids that they would still, like when they would do the breathing, when they would do the relaxation, they would start to cry.
Oh.
Yeah, or they would have panic attacks. And what's going on here? And that's an important thing to talk about because later on people are going to ask, well, John, what about if I do mindfulness, it doesn't work for me?
Mm-hmm.
the idea is that there's something going on. And that's what I learned with them. I'd have huddle-ups with them afterwards. What's happening? And they'd say, well, family's going through divorce. I've gone through trauma. I've gone through these experiences. So I realized I had more to learn. So then I went back. I got the certification to be a school counselor, to be a psychotherapist, to do all that great stuff. And then, took it from the classroom into a community center, from a community center to preventative medicine, from there into residential treatment. And it's just like this long, exciting journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and each one builds on the other to where here I am today, talking to you and helping other people.
I love that lifelong learning process.
Yeah.
I have met people before that haven't embraced that at all, and it's like after they graduate from college, they're done.
Ta-da!
And I've helped them with the resume, and I'm like, well, you've left off all the other things that you've learned along the way, and they're like, was I supposed to take another class? It's like, well, you're not supposed to do anything. I just naturally thought you would because I do. So isn't everyone just like me? So anyways, you are in the practice of helping people. And you mentioned mindfulness, and it's a key focus in what you do. So can you help us understand what mindfulness is?
Sure, yeah. And if I was going to do a show, it would be the Mindfulness Mythbusters.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, because so many people, they tell me this all the time. Like, I can't relax, John. I have a high stakes job. Or, I'm a paramedic, I'm a police officer, fireman. I can't be doing this mindfulness mumbo jumbo stuff, right? So mindfulness, the core of it is seeking the greatness within you. Like, bottom line, what is in you that you want to bring out? And so what you do is you use techniques in order to make that happen. So everyone knows the breathing and relaxation, and that's core, and that's super important. That gets you started. So we're teaching you how to land, how to calm down, how to center, so when other things come up, we can bring you back down. Then we're teaching you awareness, mindfulness itself, so you can see what's happening. So if you are an entrepreneur, right, and you're working with, you're in the middle of a negotiation, and it's high stakes, you think mindfulness doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense, because you become aware, oh, my heart rate's going up. Oh, my breathing is increasing. I'm looking nervous. That person's picking up on that. You want to be able to calm yourself down and center. So now mindfulness becomes tactical in a sense, and it's much more applicable to everyday life. But then the other piece is you have to continue that journey to seek within. If you just try to calm down, you're just aware, you'll notice at times, just like those kids I worked with, stuff's going to come up. And I don't care who you are. You can be the strongest man or woman, the most intelligent, the most professional. You're still human.
Yeah.
So doing that, making that connection to yourself and seeking the beauty within will empower you to be the best in whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
Wow, and that's really, part of entrepreneur spirit, is that they really are striving to do something that no one's ever done before, and they're driven to be the best, and I mean, their minds never shut off. In fact, entrepreneurs, well, you're an entrepreneur, so you know this. It's like you have a dream, and it's so vivid that you can't wait to get up in the morning and implement it.
Share it with the world.
It's like, oh my God, I have this great idea. I can't wait to tell you about it. And so, but then it's like you're going in so many different directions. So, how do we find time to practice that mindfulness? I mean, it is great to get to the point where you can notice that you're starting to feel that, but it's like, there's only 24 hours in a day.
Sure.
And, I do need to sleep at some point. So am I practicing mindfulness when I sleep, or
how do you do that?
Do it? Yeah.
Sure. Well, the first thing is setting the goal. So
Okay.
what is it you want to achieve? If you were an entrepreneur, I'm not asking you to meditate for 3 hours a day. I'm not even asking you to be totally calm. Keep
not a good idea.
Yeah, keep that passion, man. What a disservice that would be if you're like, hi, I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh my God, nobody would know who I am.
Right. You got to bring it out.
Okay?
You're just more aware.
Yeah.
But we need those little skills, those tricks sometimes to help us. I can show you a couple.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So the first one is going to be changing the chemistry of the body.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to take our hand and put it on our heart.
Okay.
And solemnly pledge. No. I promise to do mindfulness every day. No. So what we do when our hand's on our heart, Dr. Christian Neff talks about this, is our brain interprets it as social touch.
Oh.
When we have social touch, our brain goes, oh, that's nice. It releases oxytocin. Oxytocin is literally that. It's the love hormone.
Yeah.
So like you have a large meal, after intimacy, having this connection, it all creates oxytocin. Why is that important? It counteracts cortisol. Now, cortisol isn't evil. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So when we need to get up in the morning, we want that healthy stress to get us moving. This is urgent. Too much of us, we stop. We've all had that. We can't think anymore. We're too tense, too edgy, we're shaking. Doing this balances out the chemistry. So now you can have the ability to be engaged, be aware, but you're a little bit more settled. So before you walk into that boardroom, or at the end of the day, you've had a long day, you've been crushing deals, sit in the car for a minute, do this, make that connection.
I do feel better.
It's interesting, right?
It's really calm. Do you notice a difference?
So another one is the breathing. You already started to do it. It's natural. So when we inhale, that's like the gas. That's the sympathetic nervous system ready to go. Okay. So, and you see it. You ready? Let's do this, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel it. So when you exhale, that's the break. So like imagine like it's all over, you're done, you go over.
Right.
So we can take control of that.
Okay.
So here's how we do it. You take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's good, Claire. You're rocking it over there. You're rocking out this calm.
I can breathe.
Yeah. So then you breathe in through the nose again. Longer out through the mouth.
Ooh.
Feels different. And then one more. Longer out through the mouth. Really good.
Wow.
You did good. So now we've taken control of our body and our mind. And especially the paramedics, policemen, firefighters, entrepreneurs, we want that control.
Yeah.
We want that. So we don't have to fake it anymore and say I'm fine when I'm not.
Yeah.
We can say I'm not okay. I don't need to show that to the world because I'm in the middle of something. But I can calm myself down and then be ready to continue to move forward and be more productive at the same time.
So is that how the sports figures, you hear about these guys who, they lose one of their parents, the day before a big game or something like that, and they show up and they perform. And I always wonder, it's like, how in the world can they get out of their hearts like that? How do they get themselves focused on that task when this really heavy thing just happened?
Sure.
So is this something?
It's connected to it.
Okay.
It's connected. See, that's you. Oh, you just. I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's the superpower that many of us have. So same thing with firefighters. They're running to a building. It's on fire.
Yes.
I mean, I'm running out. They're running in.
Right.
How do you do that? Well, some of it is healthy disassociation. So when we say dissociation, that's like you check out a little bit.
Okay.
This is a healthy version of that.
Okay.
You need to achieve the task. That's not the time to get in touch with your emotions.
Okay.
And it sounds funny
Makes
for
sense.
a therapist
No,
to say,
no.
but it's all about the balance. So the trick is, in that moment, they're able to go, okay, it's game time. I need to shut it down. They may perceive as cold. You see people in business all the time. You're so cold. Well, right now I'm in the middle of this. I have to get this done. If I get in touch with all the emotional stuff, I can't concentrate.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you go through that, but the harder part is, can you check back in? So can you run into that fire, save those lives, come back out, and then come home, be emotionally present for your family?
Yeah.
Can you turn that off when you do that, like Olympic athlete, perform at this amazing level? I mean, I'm always just blown away by them. But then can you turn it back on, go home and connect to those feelings?
Yeah.
Because if we don't, it'll catch up eventually. I don't know how many times I've heard this because at Healing Springs, we work with a lot of high-level professionals that are coming in for treatment. They're the best and the brightest, but they're also still human.
Sure.
And when I worked in preventive medicine, the same thing. We're getting these very smart, high-level, they own the building. They don't work in the building kind of individuals.
Right.
Right. And so what goes on is they begin to ask, well, what happened? I don't feel like I used to. I don't have it anymore. Well, what they don't have anymore, that it is the capacity to shut it down, to tune it out. Now they're starting to find coping mechanisms that aren't working. That's when the alcohol kicks in. Alcohol's not bad, but too much of it's not good for you. That's when eating, food's not bad, but too much of it's not good for you. Or workaholism kicks in.
Yeah.
Or all these different coping mechanisms. So the trick is now, can you tune back in, begin to release that stuff, not to hang out there forever. Like the goal of therapy is not to have you feel your feelings. We want you to start with that. Like Melissa Engel, one of the clinical director at Healing Springs, says, feel your feelings and stay safe. That's the start.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. But then you want to release it. And then you go over here, like with our work with Rachel Graham, who's one of the coaches there and one of the owners.
Okay.
She says, okay, you felt your feelings, you stayed safe, you've healed that scar. Now let's get back in the game. Now let's look at your professional life. Let's do some coaching around this. Who are you? What's your personality like? Where do you want to go now? What's your vision? And then you combine those two together, you have the winning combination.
Oh my gosh, I just felt how powerful that is.
Yeah, and it is to watch it. Because you come in, I'm a professional, I don't want to talk about my feelings, here are my feelings, let's release them to, let's get back in the game and move forward. And knowing that, I think it helps a lot of people change therapy. You know, how we view it. Instead of going in and going, I'm in therapy, boo, it's, I'm in therapy, wee, yeah. So it makes it more exciting.
Yeah, because, there is a lot of stigma still around that word of therapy, and so I think that what you guys are doing is really helpful to help people kind of get out of that idea. And what do you think? Is it about somebody that's really strong asking for help? Do you think that it makes them feel too vulnerable? Does it make them feel like they're out of control? What do you? You're the professional.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Yeah.
So I think first of all, it's partially the fault of therapists, all my good friends, and the history of us. We have great intentions.
Are you making enemies right now by saying this?
A little bit. Sorry about this, guys. But it's not them either. It's actually take it deeper. It's the old paradigm, which is changing. So what's happening now is a lot of us are huddling up, and we're trying to rebrand therapy. The old school therapy was you feel your feelings, you connect to it, and now go get them. And you would see change in people, and that was fantastic. But the model was incomplete. So now that we're creating this other side of here, the coaching side, now we're creating the more complete model. So people come into therapy, and sometimes they weren't fully coached by well-intentioned, wonderful therapists of, hey, we want to get into this, but we want to get into this to take you here. Because they were just coming from what they were taught in college. So now as we're looking at differently, therapy is more of like going to the mechanic. We're going in to work on something to fix the car. We're going to take the pieces out, put it back together so the car runs good. Why do you want that? So you can go to where you want to go in life.
Right.
Make that direction. But it is scary for the 18 players because they've been, like you said, they've been in control their whole life. And now they're letting go of control. The new answer is going to be balance. Now there's times to be in control, be focused. Now there's times to let go. And if you can find that balance, then therapy is now a cool thing. It's like coaching, a lot of people want to do, instead of it being something that's a sign of weakness.
And so these guys are really busy, and they're finally realizing that what they keep doing isn't working for them. Just keep doing the same thing, getting the same result, right? So how do you help them find the time in their very busy day? I mean, you mentioned, sitting in your car after before you go home or before you go into a meeting and things like that. Do you recommend like a certain amount of time every day to devote to this kind of practice, just to kind of keep your, mindfulness stamina going?
Yeah, keep it going. It's like working out. Yeah. Sure. And time is an important thing because when we are younger, when we're in that entrepreneur mode, we exchange our health sometimes and time for money. Now we really push ourselves.
Oh my gosh, you were so right. Yeah.
But then when we're older,
get sick, right?
Yeah, then we have to exchange money for health.
Oh my God,
and more
you were
time.
So right. Yeah.
And we see it. And when I worked in preventative medicine, and I see people come in on the other end of that, we make that connection. So the first thing is a paradigm shift. First thing is, this is important. This is like investing in stock. This is like investing in your retirement. You're taking this time to build up the future you. This is part of your retirement plan.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah, so it's a different way to see it. So I would say carve out that time as if you were talking to your financial planner.
Okay.
Make it happen and just do it. No, it's not going to be forever, but give it that kind of importance. And then every day, find some way to connect to yourself. Breathe, to recenter, those tricks we did earlier at minimum. But then get some support to get that coaching that you're going to need.
Well, yeah, I work a lot with kids, and I liken the educational side of things to any kind of athlete.
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of like a brain coach. It's like you're going to teach them the skills, you're teaching them the strategy, and then you're going to give them permission to practice. And when you have that trifecta, then all the cylinders start clicking together and things like that. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. Is you're coaching them on something that they can't see themselves. Just like with Tiger Woods, if his coach tells him one little nuance to change on his swing, how much better he swings.
Exactly.
But he can't see it himself, but he can feel it once he connects with that ball, right? He can feel the difference, but he can't articulate how that happened. So you guys are doing,
That's a great point.
Thank you.
This is why Claire is awesome.
Right. So tell us about Healing Springs and how it's different.
How to make that difference?
Yeah.
In part, you with the Tiger Woods, a great example because like when you change your golf swing, you feel awkward for a little bit.
True.
That's the same thing with Healing
good
Springs.
point.
And we have about a 9-hole little mini golf course at Healing Springs, so you can come and
you do?
a little golf. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's super cool. So you can do your golf swing while you're there. Tiger Woods is welcome to come join us, or maybe not. The part that makes us different is the combination.
Okay.
So we're looking at your diet, how that's going to help you. So when you come, the food's going to be not just delicious, but it's going to be good for your body on the inside. Heal the internal organs, make everything right so that your brain functions better.
Oh, wow.
We're going to do that coaching. So you're going to do the DISC, you do the Myers-Briggs. We're going to see your personality assessment, see who you are as a person. We're also going to do trauma assessments. How does trauma affect with this? We're going to look at your addictions. And for us, addiction isn't just drugs, alcohol. It's compulsive behaviors that keep you trapped. What is it that you can't give up? So we're going to look at those addictions in a more global view without shame or blame. And then we're going to bring the family in and make it more of a team effort. So instead of working in isolation, we're going to bring everyone together. So again, make that winning combination so that anyone who comes can succeed.
Yeah, and I love that you bring the family in because that's our support system. And
We need them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and they need us too. And they need to understand what we're doing so they can, see. Yeah, we're going to change, but it's all because it's all around love. It's our self-love. It's loving the family. It's making sure that everybody is connected, and they're going to be even, I would imagine, even more connected because they're going to start understanding and seeing things in a different way too. Even though they're not going through the therapy themselves, they're still affected by it.
They are. That's a great point, Claire. Once you walk into therapy, one person walks in therapy, everybody's in therapy. Welcome to the party. I mean, you might as well come to the intensives.
Yeah.
You might as well hang out with us and learn what's going on.
Well, do you have any advice for the hardworking entrepreneurs out there? What can we be doing?
What can you be? I think the most important thing is keep doing what you're doing, first of all.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with being sharp, be on the A game. There's nothing wrong with being serious and hardworking. Keep doing it. Find some times for a little bit of balance. So if you're always highly intense, if you're always very stern or serious, find a little bit of time to relax, calm, and have some fun. If you're the artistic entrepreneur and you're always out there and very creative, find the time to be very focused and direct and get your mind more channeled to get things done and completed.
Yeah. So how can everyone find you, John?
Well, I think the best way is to go to our website.
Okay.
And it's going to just be, if you Google Healing Springs Ranch, we'll pop right up and you can click on there. You can learn about our staff, the research we're doing right now, which is blowing things out of the water. Like we're seeing some results that have never been seen before. And I want people to come check it out.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, John, so
Thank
much
you.
for being here today. John Edmonson, the Director of Wellness and Life Coach at Healing Springs. As always, thank you to my loyal fans out there. We really appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Coffee with Claire. To learn more about today's guests, visit their website or find them on Facebook. To learn more about me, Claire Billingsley, follow me on LinkedIn or visit my website at coffeewithclaire.tv. And to hear more episodes of Coffee with Claire, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast and social media platforms.